So before I start this review, I just want to say yes, I purposely wore this white sweater to match the laptop, okay? Don't hate me for it. I just had to get that out of the way. But with that being said, I do have something very special in front of me. This is a brand new product that was announced back in April by Acer. It's their Concept D7 laptop. This is part of their creator line. A bunch of laptop vendors decided to create creator versions of some of their high-performing gaming laptops. This is a program that was started by NVIDIA. Now, as you can tell, this looks exactly like the Acer Triton 500, but instead of having a Predator logo in the middle, it's just painted all in white. They both share the same chassis. Now, don't let that fool you, because there's a lot of differences in this laptop to make it more appealing to creators. It's the same weight, 4.6 pounds, so you can easily fit this in your bag. Port situation is also the same, which means on the left-hand side, you have your power connector, RJ45, USB 3.0, full-size HDMI, and then your audio ports. And on the right-hand side, you have two more USB ports. You have your mini display port, USB Type-C Thunderbolt 3 port, and then of course your LED lights. It is Thunderbolt 3, so you can hook up an external GPU, but I do wish this had an SD card slot. So internally, just like the Triton 500, the motherboard's flipped, which means if you want to access the SSD and the RAM, you have to take the motherboard out to do so. It is upgradable. The one in here is 1 terabyte and it's really, really fast. You do have 3 fans like the Triton 500 with heat pipes running across the middle. Now the battery size is 80 watts, and you would think with a 4K display and an H-series processor that battery life wouldn't be that great, but surprisingly, I got 6 hours and 30 minutes of use doing productivity before needing to charge. That's quite impressive for a laptop with such a powerful CPU, GPU, and a 4K display. Opening the display does pass the one-hand test without any issues, and the display is 16:9 and 4K. It's matte, but not matte like me, which means it's going to be able to handle harsh lighting conditions. Like, you're not gonna have those crazy reflections you would get on a glossy display. It's not touch, but it does have good color accuracy. Now, don't let the Pantone validated sticker fool you. This doesn't guarantee that this display is factory calibrated. This doesn't guarantee that the color accuracy is impeccable. What you need to know is the Moniz calibration. Now, based on my testing, this display has a very low Delta E score. It also has very high sRGB, Adobe RGB, and P3 scores. It also has decent brightness, like 325, but it's not as bright as something like the MacBook Pro. The display is 60 Hz, there's no Windows Hello, there's no fingerprint scanner, but you do get the exact same potato camera that you get on the Acer Triton 500. So 720p, it looks like this, which should be fine for most people doing video conferencing calls. Now, speakers are coming out of the bottom of the laptop, and they're okay. They get fairly loud. There's absolutely no bass, but it does have good mid-range and treble. Just note that it's kind of tinny because the sound is coming out of the bottom of the laptop. So the specs are pretty neat. RTX 2080 Max-Q, i7-9750H, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. And if that's not enough power for you, they also have a D7 Pro with a beefier CPU and a RTX Quadro card. Now, performance on this is different compared to the Triton 500. Performance is gonna be better than something like the Lenovo X1 Extreme or Dell XPS 15, but it's not gonna be as good as their gaming laptops. The reason being is because Acer is taking a different approach. They're still giving you the power, but they're toning it down in order to have a quieter experience. Fan noise on this is ridiculously low, like in line or if not lower than a MacBook Pro under load, 40 to 45 decibels, which means you can hear the fans, but they're not overbearing. Now, because this does have an RTX 2080, you can game on this thing as well. Like, I was getting really good frame rates. Obviously not as good as the Triton 500, but I can still play any AAA titles with settings set to high at 1080p or on 4K. Keyboard is the same layout as well, but it feels better. They didn't use those rubber keys that the Triton 500 has. It has more of a springy, clicky mechanism to it, and I actually quite enjoy it a lot. Backlighting is not RGB, it's just an orange color. You can increase or decrease the brightness to your needs. Touchpad, really good, very accurate. It's glass, using Windows Precision drivers, no complaints there. So here are my closing thoughts. The Concept D7 is a great way to revamp a gaming laptop into something that's appealing towards creators. If this was like 5 years ago, I would be the most happy human on the planet. But we have such a big push towards creators now that I feel this laptop is missing a few key features. SD card slot would have been nice, but it's not the end of the world. Windows Hello should be there, whether it's through facial recognition or fingerprint scanner. And because this is $3,000, it's the exact same price as a similarly spec'd MacBook Pro 16. And I think for a lot of people, it becomes a hard decision. Anyways, you let me know your thoughts on the Concept D7 in the comments down below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video.